here for another episode of A Lifetime of Hallmark, where we get movies from Lifetime and the Hallmark Channel, and we try to make sense of them. How about that? Hello, Jason Bowers.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett. And I like the fact that you took a bit of a dramatic pause before the name of the podcast.
Oh, like, thank you. Yeah. That wasn't me being dramatic. That's just tiredness, but I'll take it.
Yeah. just go with it. Roll with it.
And hello, Patrick.
Hello, Les Kirkendall Barrett and Jason Bowers.
Hello.
So I am now speaking to you from Minneapolis, Minnesota, on my tour through the Midwest. And
isn't that the location of a certain show that starred Betty White
and Mary Tyler Moore? Yes.
And Cloris Leachman.
Yes, who played Phyllis Lindstrom.
Ed Asner.
Right, Lou Grant.
Valerie Harper.
Rhoda.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Flo. Oh no, that was Alice.
That was in Arizona.
Yeah.
But Captain Merrill Stubing was on this show.
He was, yes. Gavin McLeod.
How about Charo? Oh no, that was Love Boat.
She was in Love Boat a lot, yeah.
Hey, remember that episode of Love Boat where Captain Stubing like smacked his daughter across the face? Like she drank wine.
No.
She drank a bunch of wine. Her name was like Jennifer.
Jill.
Or something. She drank a bunch of wine.
Vicky.
Huh? Vicky, yeah. Vicky had some wine, and she got a little drunk. She's like, I just had some wine. So he smacked her in the face.
Yeah, Jill.
Are you serious?
Jill Whelan is the actress's name. That's because I actually know Jill.
Yeah, Julie Lett.
He
you
slapped
know
her?
He slapped her in the face.
See?
And then he explained later that he was an alcoholic and stuff like that, and he got upset when he saw her drunk off her ass.
That would not happen on television today.
No. It's actually surprising it happened then.
Right.
Happened on the Love Boat.
Wow.
That show would have been
Tune
canceled
in.
so fast.
Oh no.
Well, standards and
Wow,
practices wouldn't have even let it air in 2019.
Right.
And you know that actress?
Mm-hmm.
Jill
Whelan. She was a series regular on the show for many years. And then when I first moved to LA, I used to take improv classes at this place called the Lembeck Comedy Workshop, and she took classes there. So I've done improv with Jill and with Charlene Tilton from Dallas.
Now wait, was this taught by Michael Lembeck from One Day at a Time?
So yeah, Michael Lembeck is a big TV director now, like huge. And so back in the 90s is like when he was kind of in his heyday of like really directing TV a lot. So he ran it with his sister Helene. Their dad is Harvey Lembeck, who was a character actor back in like the golden age of Hollywood. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Michael won an Emmy for I think directing Friends. He directs a lot. He directed a couple of the Santa Claus movies with Tim Allen.
I just remember on One Day at a Time he had a beard and I thought it was very cute. I did.
Amazing.
He wasn't Schneider.
No,
he wasn't Schneider.
He
That was a
played
different dude.
what was the Julie? Was that Mackenzie Phillips' character?
Julie.
So it's Julie's husband Max in the later seasons.
Oh
Yes.
boy!
And then
this is
it was
a tangled web.
And it was one of those sitcom things where like they didn't recast people that much back then. So when an actor had to leave the show, as did Mackenzie Astin, because she had Mackenzie Phillips, because she had some drug and alcohol problems, they wrote one of the daughters off the show, but her husband just like stuck around and was there in the show all the time.
In the house, right?
Yeah, I think he was living there. Yeah.
Oh, really? That's weird.
Yeah.
So why do you have Mackenzie Astin on your mind? I noticed that just slipped out.
I just confused Mackenzie Phillips and Mackenzie Astin. I'm sorry if that was a popular name to name your famous actor child back in the 60s and 70s, but it was.
I mean, if I was Freud, I would say you've had Mackenzie Astin has been.
I thought Mackenzie Astin was really cute growing up, but that's not like where I was going with this. I was
Anyway.
not thinking of
It's a-
Patty Duke and John Astin's kid. I was thinking of John
Ooh.
Phillips and Michelle Phillips' daughter.
Oh, no, my head's going to explode.
Right.
Oh, God, I can't take it. I was so mad at Betty White because I had to watch this movie tonight. I'm so tired. I'm like, fuck Betty White. And I'm like,
How
she's
dare
going to
you?
die. She's going to die tomorrow, and I'm going to feel so bad. I was like, someone is going to now listen to this podcast, hear me saying that, think I'm terrible. It's like, I'm just tired.
Betty White is a national treasure.
She really is.
All right, I don't mean that.
Legitimately, I was thinking about this last night, and nobody really frames it this way in terms of Betty White's career. Like, if you think of Betty White, she was on TV at the very beginning of the medium. She was one of the first women to ever win an Emmy. Her career predates Lucille Ball.
Yes.
All right. Geez.
And then she had a kind of a career renaissance in the 70s by being a Mary Tyler Moore and doing the game shows with her husband Alan Ludden. And then another renaissance in the 80s doing the Golden Girls. And then another renaissance with doing Hot in Cleveland.
All right.
It's kind of phenomenal.
And a few years ago, she was a character on The Bold and the Beautiful.
Really?
Yes. She was on for like a couple of years on The Bold and the Beautiful.
Wow. Her dog Charity
impressed.
needed some money that year.
Probably.
Her dog? Well, that's why I've got an issue with her. I saw her. I brought this up before on previous episodes, but I have to bring it up again so we have it in context. The root of my anger is that they had a Larry King Live Mary Tyler Moore reunion show. It was Gavin McLeod, Ed Asner, Cloris Leachman, Betty White. They're all there. They're all talking about shows they were previously on, just like we were talking about. And Cloris Leachman says, I was on Lassie. And Betty White said, oh, were you the dog?
Good for her. Good for her.
So I have it in for Betty White because that was rude.
Look, I don't think Betty probably meant it as a compliment. She's a huge animal advocate.
Huge.
She did say that afterwards. She said, because I do a lot with animals. And maybe I could help you.
Yeah.
And Betty White is smart because she has real estate because one of my friends, Betty White, was his landlord for a while.
What?
Well, Betty White was his landlord.
On Doheny. He lived on Doheny.
Dude, that is a sitcom.
Right?
Well, I hope she was a responsible landlord. I hope she's a better landlord than I am.
And you know why I like her the best? Because many years. Oh, see, I gotta go outside again. The dog's barking.
Look out,
listeners! I'm
Betty,
staying
that
at my
may have
friend's
been
house.
Betty White. That might be Cloris Leachman.
Right. Yes, my friends have these two big dogs, and when they bark loud. Oh, so many years ago, back before I was a working actor, I was a telemarketer, and I called Betty White. And she was
What did you call
very
her?
nice.
Yeah.
I was telemarketing for the Geffen Playhouse, and I was selling theater subscriptions. And when I called Betty White, and it was Betty White because the voice, it was her for sure. And she called me dear, and she was like, "Oh no, thank you, dear." But she's like, are they casting for anything? And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know." But she was very nice.
Jockeying for work. Look at her.
Yes. Betty White.
I'm impressed with that.
Betty
She's
White.
trying to get work. She's trying to get acting work from a telemarketer.
You know who else did that? Jean Smart.
Who?
Jean Smart.
Really? She was trying to get work from you too?
Yes. Wait, and get this. When Jean Smart did it, she asked if there were any male roles for her husband.
Really? She's got work? Holy shit.
Yes.
Jeez, you better. I'll tell you what. I imagine June Squibb is actually calling telemarketers looking for work.
Oh yeah, like June Squibb is the person like when the robocall
When
calls
she
her,
hears
she's
about
like,
this.
"Yeah, I've got time."
Yeah, the robocall. She's trying to get work from them. That's terrible. I'm sorry, June Squibb. Once again, I'm just tired.
Okay. Well then, I guess we should start then, because it is.
Yeah, let's go. Before I throw someone else under the bus. Yeah.
It is like 9:30 where you are, because it's 8:30 where I am, and Jason's.
before I
So
start.
what is it, like 6:30?
Yeah.
I'm gonna start talking shit about Doris Roberts if we. Yeah.
Oh,
Hey.
don't you go there.
Don't you dare talk about Mildred Krebs.
No, I admire Doris Roberts. I saw Doris Roberts interviewed. She said she still watched. I think she passed away, but before she passed away, she was talking about how she was taking acting class every weekend. I was like, wow, she still takes acting classes. I was very very impressed with that.
She was Mildred Krebs on Remington Steele.
Oh, that's right. She was on Remington Steele.
Ooh.
Yes. All right. So okay.
All due respect. Okay.
So. Okay, I always get the name of this movie wrong. So what was the name of this movie?
The Lost Valentine.
The Lost Valentine.
Starring Betty White and America's other treasure, Jennifer Love Hewitt.
And there were some other people in this, too, that are kind of notable.
Yes.
That blonde-haired dude is in all kinds of stuff.
His name is Billy Magnuson. He is about 2 feature films away from being the leading man in a studio film. Like he's done so much, and he's got big. He's going to be in the new Bond movie. He's in Aladdin right now. He's in a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's cute.
He's very cute. And Sean Ferris, who played the
heard it
love
here
interest, he's really cute too.
Yeah, the guys in this movie were cute.
But there is one person that I didn't realize who it was because his name wasn't even in the opening credits where they showed the bigger names. It was like at the end credits. Do you know who played the dad, like basically Betty White's son?
Who?
No.
Gil Gerard.
That was Gil Gerard? That was Buck Rogers?
Gil Gerard.
No.
Yeah.
Because
like the end credits started and I saw his name. I was like, why am I seeing Gil Gerard's name in the credits? And then I looked on IMDb and it was Gil Gerard.
Oh, no.
Oh my God. I had no idea.
That was Buck Rogers?
Yes.
Oh, man, him and Willie Ames are not the poster boys for aging.
Willie Ames got pre-credit billing at least.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but this is rough. I don't know. Getting old is a rough thing.
Well,
boy,
getting old is not for the faint of heart.
No, it's not for Gil Gerard. Yeah,
wow.
Buck Rogers, and he was on some other show too. What was the other one? Scarecrow, Mrs. King? No, that was Bruce. What's his name? Yeah.
Or not Barry Bostwick.
No.
Bruce Boxleitner.
Yeah.
I know it was Box something.
Oh no! Oh, I had no idea. What on earth?
But this is why this had a good cast. This was not a regular Hallmark Channel movie. This is what I've told you about before. The Hallmark Hall of Fame movies. This first aired on CBS, and it had a bigger budget. Clearly.
Oh, and you could tell
somebody called him in. Betty White must have had some kind of connection with him. She said, "You're going to come here and play my son."
NBC,
sure.
NBC probably.
Sure.
Because Buck Rogers was on NBC. Golden Girls.
Yeah, but if NBC calls up CBS and says, "Hey, can you put the star of yesteryear on our network?" They're gonna be like, "Screw you."
True.
I think it was Buck Rogers calling Betty White, saying, "What is the secret to your youth?"
And she says, "All right, I'll give you some work. How do you keep getting work? All right, I'll throw you a job."
Do you know Betty White still eats hot dogs?
Hey, you know what happened? Gil Gerard was probably working as a telemarketer and called Betty White, and he got hooked up with some work.
Want some work?
She says, "I'll throw you something. You can play my son."
He was working catering that day, and the original actor hired to play the dad didn't show up. And Gil's like, "Well, I happen to be a SAG member.
Man.
Come on over." Wow. I
Look
cannot
at
believe
us.
that was Gil Gerard.
Yeah.
Look at us on our high horses.
Well,
right?
I know I live in a glass house.
Gil Gerard is sitting at home listening to this podcast, giving us all the figures, saying, "Hey, people at least recognized my name when they heard it. You guys, who are you?"
Yeah, he's like, "Fuck them."
Right? Don't go through my resume.
I don't see this Kurt Fitzpatrick in any Buck Rogers movie. Yeah, were you in that gay American Pie series?
Oh, Eating Out. I was in Eating Out 3.
You were?
You hear that, Gerard? You hear that, Gil Gerard? And we have the nerve to laugh at you. Anyway.
Like I said, I live in a glass house. I am the last person to judge when it comes.
Anyway.
I wish I could be a grandfather in a Hallmark movie. Anyway.
There's hope.
Okay. Oh, so before we start, do we have any Lori Loughlin news?
Oh, do we? I actually don't know if we really do have a Loughlin report.
We go?
No.
I don't think there was anything to report.
Wasn't she going to call the FBI or something, or did we already talk about
I think we talked about that.
Oh.
I think the only news for the
I don't
past
think
week
there's
was
anything
Black
new.
China related.
Okay, so
Yeah, what happened to Black China?
Black China news?
And now.
Yeah. Okay.
Black China report here is nice.
Let's make this quick though. Okay. So what's going on with Black China? Wait, nobody knows?
No.
I don't remember what it was.
Hello?
I just remember I sent you
was
guys a link.
I don't know what's going on with
Oh,
Black
wait, I
China.
remember what it was. I know that you sent a message that you were
This show's
surprised
ridiculous.
that her daughter was named Dream.
Yes.
Okay, her daughter's name is Dream. Well, that is newsworthy.
Oh, I guess that was the news then.
Somebody named their daughter Dream. I mean,
Yeah, Black China responds to Rob Kardashian blocking their daughter Dream from appearing on her show.
Well, I don't blame him for that.
No.
What show is that?
Kurt.
Wait, what show? The Kardashians? What are we talking about?
Yeah, what? I don't know what show she has.
Oh, because she was on Rob and China. They had a show at one point.
But it's called, the headline said her show, so clearly she's got a show on her own, and Rob said Hannah with the daughter on there.
Oh, maybe it's like the Adventures of Black China or something.
Yeah.
Boy. Well, if anybody out there knows, please let us know. In
We're
fact,
Black China-
send us any Black China news.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Black China, if you ever want to come on the show,
Listeners.
we'd be happy to have you.
Oh, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
we'll definitely have her on. We
Just
want
put it
to
out
keep
there.
everybody up to date.
I would love, absolutely love if we did, we had Black China as a guest, and she agreed to watch one of the movies that
Yes.
week with us, and it's just the cheesiest, most syrupy Hallmark movie. I want to see what she thinks.
Yes. And
I want to have Black China and Black China and Gil Gerard, and we'll have them both on at the same time, and then the three of us just stay quiet and have them to talk to each other.
Just light the fuse and watch it happen.
Yeah, just have
would
two
so
talk
stay quiet.
to each other. What's going on? I don't what where? There we go.
Right.
Wow.
Hold on.
They are not
It's a
fans of
dog's
Black
life.
China.
It's a dog's
Anyway.
life.
I'm going back outside.
Is this going to be this week's chairs?
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
If you missed last week's episode, there was Les was broadcasting from a coffee shop, and somebody was moving their chair.
Kurt cut out there, but what he had said was somebody was moving their chair constantly, and it was the heaviest chair on the face of the earth.
It was
It was
this
a
guy.
scraping. Yeah.
Well, this guy, I think he was like bitter because he was an employee there and he was sweeping, and every time he would move the chair, he would drag the chair on the concrete floor. And it was a metal chair.
I just love the concept of passive-aggressively moving furniture.
Yes.
I
Yes.
think I've done that.
I'm sure I have too. Probably to piss off my neighbors or something.
Hey. Now I come outside, and now they come outside, and now they're barking at the dogs outside.
Oh, that didn't even sound like a dog. That sounded like a dog impersonation.
No, that was Kubla
That was a real
the
dog.
Oh, that was real?
okay.
Yeah, no, that was Kubla.
That was a real dog.
Look, let's see if I can get him. Yeah, that's him. Wait, can you see him?
That's a real thing.
Oh,
Wait,
there we go.
we should have this on our Instagram. I can't see Kubla.
What's depressing is it's brighter there than it is here in Southern California right now.
Okay, what's the weather like? I haven't been there in like 3 weeks.
Oh, it is the
Wow.
worst June gloom I've ever seen. It's been chilly and gross and cold until like 4 in the afternoon every day.
Oh. So I'm basically not missing anything.
No. Last week we had 2 really, really hot days, but this week it's been chilly.
It's June Squibb on the East Coast. It's been raining and warm, rather smarmy.
Please become a meteorologist and get hired by a network so that you can coin the phrase June Squibb as a weather
June
term.
Squibb.
I'll do it. If there are any openings out there, I will.
Well, let's get started.
Always looking for opportunities.
Kurt can go to bed.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Okay, so, and I'm gonna need you guys to chime in a lot because I was watching this and I was really tired. So my notes on this really suck. So if I miss details, please correct me. Okay. Please.
All right.
So a spaceship lands.
Anything incorrect?
So we start out in Union Station. And Betty White walks in, and this is something that was very unusual because I think for the first time in my Betty White watching, Betty White looked sad.
She looked very sad.
And that's not the Betty White that I know.
And it also wasn't, your standard Hallmark movie opening where like, oh, it's a big city and we've got like the young heroine who is too busy at her job. It's like, it's a completely different kind of opening.
Right.
Yes.
So then Betty White, like, she looks at these pictures of these sailors and she starts crying. And I'm like, Betty White? Mm-hmm. And she's crying. And
she starts blubbering.
And then there's a flashback and she's at, like, and they're in the 40s. And she's at Union Station and she's saying goodbye to her husband. And they're talking and we find out that she's pregnant.
Yeah. And he's obviously leaving for war.
And then I wrote a note, these costumes are amazing.
I was blown away. They spent money on this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So then, we find out her husband's going to World War II. And then they flash back to her, and she's sitting in Union Station again. And one of the workers at the state, one of the guys that works there comes up to her, and he starts talking to her, and we find out that she has gone to this train station every Valentine's Day for over 60 years.
Yeah. And he's been working there for 25 years. Right. He looks kind of flummoxed, like he's just sort of like, oh, okay, yeah, have a good day.
But, so then we cut to Jennifer Love Hewitt, otherwise known as Susan. What happened?
You kind of skipped over the flashback.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe, you did. You skipped over the whole flashback. He gets on the train, which I was impressed with an old train. Hops on there. He promises he'll be back. And they kiss. We never see a kiss so early in a Hallmark film, but here it is.
Although they are married.
They were married.
They're married. Okay.
I mean, they made that baby. I think the audience knows they kissed.
Yeah. She gives him a heart, like a card that's like a heart, which he reads it on the train. He gets so excited about it, he runs to the back of the train.
Right. And
that was it. I made a note that he looks kind of like Lance Bass. But as we've said, I have seen him in a lot of other things.
I think he's cuter than Lance Bass.
He is. No offense to Lance.
Way cuter.
He looks more like a leading man. Although Lance Bass was in On the Line.
So, the who? The what?
There's a movie called On the Line.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it's called. He was the lead actor in that. Okay. That might be
Who was the young actress that played his love interest in the movie? Wasn't she kind of famous too?
I don't know.
I'll look that up. Continue.
What?
Oh, okay. So then we cut to a newsroom, and Jennifer Love Hewitt, a.k.a. Susan, is on the news. So then they show her, and she's talking to, what was this woman, a producer or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I wrote a note saying, I don't like her because she was mean to Carrie Bradshaw on Sex and the City.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I mean, I can't, I can't judge that with my logic.
She was on the episode where she was Berger's ex-girlfriend, or one of her, I think it was Berger's ex-girlfriend.
Berger.
And every time that Carrie was there, she would make a face, and so Carrie was like, oh, that woman makes a face at me, and she hates me. So if you're not on Team Bradshaw, you're not on Team Kirkendall Barrett either.
So the actress from On the Line is Emmanuelle Chikri. She was in a lot of those teen movies, including 2000's Hoku, Another Dumb Blonde.
Oh.
Hoku.
Do you remember Hoku?
Instead of haiku, there's a movie called Hoku.
Hoku was a pop singer from 2000, and her dad is Don Ho.
And she sang the theme song to Legally Blonde.
Don Ho. Oh, all right.
Yep.
Well, I know who Don Ho is. I am somewhat contemporary.
Tiny Bubbles. Okay, so Jennifer then gets a story from her very mean boss. Now, her boss was very mean.
Looks a little like Kelsey Grammer.
A little. So then she gets this assignment, and then she goes to her assignment, and she goes to Betty White's house, where she bumps into Betty White's grandson, Lucas.
No, she bumped into the grandson at the office. She first met him at the office, which is how she knew.
Sorry.
So when she was talking to fake Kelsey Grammer, she was kind of talking smack about the idea of doing this kind of fluff story. And Lucas, the grandson, overheard that, was there because I guess they'd already talked to him and he was on board. And kind of makes a snide remark about her being kind of dismissive, and he walks out. So then next day, it's like a re-meet cute of like, oh, wait, I was mean to you, and now here you are.
And I tell you what, Lucas, and I'm going to say it now, Lucas had the best game out of anybody I've ever seen in a Hallmark or Lifetime movie.
Sounds like the dog agrees.
Lucas had fantastic game. He really did.
Okay.
I would say he was confident. I wouldn't necessarily say it's good game.
Really? Okay.
Well, only because there was one point where he was basically forcing himself on her.
Yeah, he gets really close.
Yeah.
I know the scene that you're talking about. We'll get to that. I do have some opinions about that. He doesn't seem to care that she has a boyfriend or fiance. He's just kind of like, oh, yeah?
Yeah, and that's what I mean.
I kind of like that, though.
I mean, it was sexy to watch because he's beautiful. Jennifer Love Hewitt is beautiful. You're like, oh, yeah, go do beautiful things together on camera.
Right.
I do find Hewitt attractive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, she's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Hewitt.
So then we go to Betty White's house, and of course she's making tea. And then once again, I wrote a note. Lucas is very hot.
All right, we get it.
And so then they're like.
She lies. She does a sneaky thing like Les Kirkendall Barrett would do. She pretends she knows Lucas. She's like, I know Lucas, we're friends. And
no, she didn't say that.
Betty picks up the phone immediately and calls him. Hey, guess what? Your good friend is here.
Jennifer Love Hewitt's defense, though, to the hot guy was, I didn't ever say we were friends. I just said I knew you.
Very good, and that was good. That was good reasoning.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
If you're going to swindle an old lady, there are far worse things that J Love could have done there.
Right. Oh, and so then she notices her flower bush or rose bush, and she says, "This rose bush is beautiful." And then Lucas chimes in and says, "It's dead."
She says it's not dead.
Right. So then, of course, so she wants a story with Betty, and Betty's like, well, why do you want a story about me? and she explained that your story is different than a lot of stories we hear because you kept your love going after all of these years. And so then we cut to a dinner party, a very dark dinner party.
Yeah.
Like a dark room with a bunch of candles, and I was like, this does not look, it looks like they're either swingers or something's going on.
It's funny, I didn't realize that was the vibe, but now that's what I see, yes.
I thought it looked weird too. I said looked like it was chicks with dudes, and the dudes seemed clingy.
Yes.
Something was off about that.
Yeah.
Because normally, if you see a dinner party amongst friends, it's a little more brightly. They're sitting at like a regular table. These were 4 people that were at sort of a very casual, sit on the floor kind of deal, and the lighting was like very sexy.
Yeah,
which I don't know
dark.
that you would do at your own personal dinner party, but who knows?
Yeah.
They definitely had they were a little confused about boundaries, as we learn in the next thing that happens.
Oh yes, there were no boundaries. You know. Oh, and it's the girl. It's the woman. The friend is the girl who I don't like. Who all my notes I put the girl I don't like. So they're there, and they're in the living room, and all of a sudden they're talking, and he just like whips out a wedding ring, an engagement ring. He just whips it out, and then she's not into it. Like, he does it in front of her friends, and then she was, I guess, mad because he didn't ask her. He just literally just took out the box.
Yeah, because he said something like, "Oh, like, where's your answer?" She's like, "You didn't ask the question," because he didn't.
Right.
Oh, bad move. We've talked about this before. Don't do public proposals.
Exactly.
And then
Bad.
Okay, and then what made it even worse is the next scene. It shows them arguing, and then we find out the friends are still there.
It was like a sitcom moment.
I think the one guy said his coat was in the room. We can't go. My coat's in there.
You get your coat tomorrow.
Yeah, get the coat tomorrow. Is it that cold out? Didn't look like it was.
Wait, you work together. She could have brought your coats to work with her.
I think, though, they would have, the way that place was set up, I think the only exit out of that room was to go through the kitchen where the argument was happening.
So they were trapped out in that porch.
Yes.
It was very awkward.
Oh, a disaster.
How
unconsiderate of the people arguing. All right.
Very.
And then this guy has like no self-esteem because he's like, well, you know what? Why didn't you keep the ring and think about it? Dude, she said no in front of people.
She didn't say no, though.
Take it back.
And that's why I told her to keep it.
No, she might.
Well, okay, but having gone through a proposal myself, I think if you propose to somebody and they say no, I think it's pretty much done. Or they don't even say no, but they don't take the ring and get mad and yell at you.
They don't know.
I think that's pretty much of a done
deal.
That's
a no. That's a no.
She yelled at him.
We knew that they weren't going to end up together just because that's the construct of any movie. But in that moment, I don't think that means a full-on no. I think that means hey, let's put the brakes on, dude. You didn't actually ask me. You did it in front of my friends. Like, let's do this where it's about both of us and not just your ego.
Oh, because I always looked at it as, you don't propose to the person unless you're absolutely sure they're going to say yes.
Well, yeah.
Or at least that's me.
Right.
I actually agree with that, too, though. That's a good point.
Especially doing it in front of other people.
I mean,
they got their friends locked out on the porch.
You only ever do it. The only time where it's ever a situation where you do it in front of other people is if you know the person you're proposing to would like that. Would like for her family and friends to be around.
And you've already,
or would like it to be like a big, huge, public show of affection on a fucking Jumbotron, then by all means do it. But if the person you're dating is like, I'm kind of quiet and I keep to myself, then no, then do it in private.
Basically, you you do it when you already like pretty much know you're gonna get married, and the ring is just like a technicality.
And you play to the room.
You ask in private. You ask in private. You don't tell anybody. And you get the yes there. You plan out the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't leave that up to chance.
Like at the very least, he should have run it by the friends. Like, hey, I'm going to propose to Susan tonight, and then they'd be like, oh my God, yes, she would love that if we were here. Yeah.
I think
exactly.
I'm going to propose, but not actually ask, and then I'm going to lock you people out on the porch as we argue about it, and then I'm definitely going to get some action.
Well,
some love Hewitt. Must have some game.
So we go back to Betty White's house.
Oh, damn it.
Then her friend, the one I don't like, calls her on the phone, and then Jennifer's like, look, just cover for me. And she goes to look for Betty, but Betty's not at home. And Lucas
Where's she?
She has a standing date on Saturday.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And she's at the I assume is like the VA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she's like handing out magazines and like basically just hanging out with the veterans from World War II. And we find out that Betty White, like, she was 20 when the husband, like, when this all went down and the husband died. Yeah. Like, she's only 20 years old.
Right.
And then we find out from Jennifer that her dad is dead.
I see dead people.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's worth the wait.
And then I wrote here, I don't know if
she doesn't
get
along with her mom.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys caught this, but I wrote, Jennifer gives Lucas sexy eyes.
Wait, Jennifer gives... Oh, okay.
Well,
like
I kind of feel like that's her... You know how, like, some people say they have resting bitch face? I think Jennifer Love Hewitt has, like, resting sexy eyes face. Like, she can't help but look cute and sexy through her eyes.
Because she was very cute. She was very cute.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, definitely. I'm won over by this Jennifer Love Hewitt. So if you're listening, Love Hewitt, I co-host a podcast, you know. I thought that when Betty White, she said, I thought at first I'd find my Neo. I thought she said Neo. So I thought like her husband was
like the
Neo
singer?
from The Matrix.
Oh, I thought you meant
like
the R&B singer Neo.
Right.
Wouldn't that be funny? He just shows up like in a fedora.
My
husband is Seal. I was going to say my husband is Seal, but now they're not Seal, Neil. Okay. All right. That'd be an interesting casting.
So then we find out that Lucas has a sexy job. He's a physical therapist. And not only is he a physical therapist, he has books. He has like an exercise book.
We didn't know that at first, though, because when he's talking to Susan, he just like randomly out of the blue, completely out of context goes, is your lower back tight? And then he's like, you should move your flexors. So I wrote that he's either a chiropractor or straight up creepy. So thankfully they did justify it like the next scene and let us know like, oh, he's a PT.
Yeah. He's got like a workout thing. We found out that Lucas is taking care of his grandma. He's kind of like a caretaker. Mm-hmm. This reminded me of Bad Lieutenant, Port of New Orleans with Nicolas Cage, where he gets. Have you guys seen that movie?
No.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he gets like really angry at these two old ladies, and he's like, "You fucks! You stay alive, and your kids can't get your inheritance." And he like aims a gun at them.
Oh, jeez.
So it reminded me of that movie.
And you complain about watching Hallmark movies,
right? Jeez, that's yelling at old ladies.
Well, I didn't say I agree with the sentiment.
Okay, so question you guys, because I wrote they met at an event. What kind of event was it? Where Neil and Betty met.
Oh, it looked like a little farmer's market kind of thing or something. Like he was clearly like on leave or whatever and recognized her because she knew him already.
Yeah.
She knew him from school growing up, but like they hadn't dated or anything.
Oh, yeah.
He went
Yeah.
away and sees her at this like farmer's market or something where she's selling her wares, and he comes up and just starts chatting her up.
Right. And he's like hotter than hell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then they're at a victory garden, and he like feeds her a tomato.
Yeah.
Not a euphemism.
And we find out that he's like been in love with her for a long time. And
Tomatoes.
they were engaged in a week, and like got married like right away.
Yeah, they were engaged a week later, and the marriage happened 3 days after that.
Yeah, they
These folks were horny.
didn't waste any time.
I think that was a thing that people did back then, though, because the war, like it was so ingrained in what everyone did in their day-to-day routine at that point.
Right.
Right.
Because that's true. It's kind of like, you better, if you want to get married, you better jump on it, because you don't know if he's coming back. Basically.
And back then, socially, it was much less acceptable to have sex out of marriage.
Right. And I bet there was that extra added, I could go away and not come back, so I better get it in.
Oh, yeah.
While I can.
Absolutely.
Oh.
I think Les meant that figuratively, not necessarily literally.
Oh, no.
I meant it figuratively.
I thought you meant literally.
No.
Okay.
I mean, it works both ways.
I'm thinking.
So then, we have a scene. We have a jogging scene, and I love it, like on these movies when they want to have like a girl chat. It's a jogging girl chat with Jennifer and Mean Girl.
Yeah, the mean girl was weird in the scene because she's like, "I would kill for your freedom." Like, so what are you in a relationship for?
Right. Exactly.
Seems unhappy.
So then Susan drives up to, I guess, his job, and they show him in the back. He's like in the back parking lot with a couple of his clients, and he was being very helpful. I guess the client was like a baseball player or something, and he was like showing him how to hold a bat. But it showed he was very nice. He's very nice to his patients. And then, how did they get talking about her hips?
It was completely out of the blue earlier in the movie.
Pretty much. Well, first she says she Googled him, and he's a good sport about that. And then she starts pretending she's interviewing him with a pen, and he's giving an answer. Then she's doing something that Michael Caine has to give her a lesson, because her pupils are like bouncing back and forth.
She does that a lot.
She watched Michael Caine.
That's a Jennifer Love
You
Hewitt
see that?
thing.
Yeah. If you watch that Michael Caine acting video, he tells you focus on one eye and your pupils won't bounce back and forth.
Focus on one eye? What?
Yes, it's because when she's looking at somebody, you can't. People at home can't see me, but you've seen this. Like there's a scene where two people are having dialogue, and someone's pupils might be going back and forth. Other people, their pupils are steady.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
So
go
I think
watch
Michael
any
Caine's
movie
famous,
that Jennifer Love Hewitt has been in. That's like a thing of hers.
Her eyes are bouncing back.
But
and forth.
I mean, it's interesting because like
you
you kind of are drawn to it and can't not watch.
Well, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
It's a.
Oh,
it's a
okay. So then,
I need to point out one thing about his Lucas's PT studio. Did you guys notice the absolutely absurd number of yoga balls on hand?
No, I did not.
So like,
I think.
That's
I did.
space. If you think about like one of those physical therapy studios, it's like a small gym essentially, like a really small gym. And so a small gym, you're gonna have what, maybe 4 or 5 yoga balls max. They had so they were shooting the scene in one direction, and I counted there were like 20 yoga balls on one wall. It was like a wall of yoga balls, and I was like, well, that's a huge number, and I was already going to comment on it, and then they cut to the other angle, and there was a whole other wall of yoga balls behind them.
Jeez.
Unless they're doing a class for like 50 people that all requires yoga balls, there'd be no need for that many yoga balls in one spot.
I guess that was his thing.
Maybe they're selling them.
It's like the adult version of going to like the play zone at Discovery Zone or whatever.
Okay. So then, like, they talk about
and
her
a lot of
hips, and
balls.
he shows her stretches, and then he touches her, and I wrote she gave you orgasm face.
Oh, well, she won't take off her heels too, which is kind of weird.
But she had
they start doing the hip thing. Oh yeah, I thought she seemed very uncomfortable with all that.
No, she had orgasm face, I thought.
Oh yeah, well, that could be uncomfortable. All right, okay.
And then
she.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, then she fakes a phone call, but she does it in a bad, ineffective way.
Mm-hmm.
She pretends that her fiance is calling her. My fiance is calling me, and then her phone actually rings.
Right.
Yeah.
And so she gets busted. Then we find out, we go back in time, and we find out that Betty's uncle sold him the house for $100 down and $50 a month. And the house was like a total shack when they bought it.
How many months? Yeah, termites.
But then after a fixing the house montage and a slow motion water scene, spraying the hose scene, which I was like, oh, back in the old movies when they did stuff like that, that alluded to sex.
Oh, yeah. I actually wrote down that water sprinkler scene. This is clearly the day they made the baby.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I just thought it was water. See, I didn't get literal. I'm only literal. Okay.
And then we find out.
I'd be concerned moving into it. All right, let's go.
Oh, and then we find out that
Okay,
he gets called. He gets his number gets picked. He's got to go. And
he enrolls.
And he's going.
There's no number.
Well, he was already in the military, but he wasn't going to be on the front lines because he was like a trainer or whatever of the pilots.
Right.
And I guess he volunteered. He's like, no, he felt bad that his friends were getting called up, and he felt guilty that he was staying behind.
And he was being sent to the Marianas, where I have lived in the Marianas before. My dad currently lives in the Marianas now.
I don't know what the Marianas is. What is that?
It's like it's a cluster of islands. We lived on the island of Guam, and that's where my dad lives now. My dad retired.
You live in Guam. Okay.
I did briefly before I moved to Spain. I lived on Guam for a couple of years.
Because Guam is a U.S. territory, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm. And it is an island. It is 30 miles long and 12 miles wide. And my father retired there, so he is currently there now.
What's it like?
It's an island. It's very humid. Food is good, though.
Is it like a resort area, or?
It's a very so it is big with Japanese. So it's like a Japanese honeymoon destination.
Is it kind of like Hawaii in a way?
Kinda. It is actually. Hawaii is a little more Americanized, if that makes any sense. But but yeah, it's a lot like it is like Hawaii. Kind of, I would say it's kind of a cross between Hawaii and the Philippines.
When you live there, because how long has it been a U.S. territory?
Oh, many decades.
Many years?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes. But then the big thing is, and I don't know if it would happen today, but a lot of people, especially from the Philippines, would, like, if you were in the process of getting your citizenship, that would be a good place to live because the people could actually live there, because since it was a territory but not a state, you could live there while you were in in transition and getting your citizenship and all that stuff. You could actually live there. Yeah.
That's right.
So.
That's right, doggy. Okay.
Oh, and then this is where we find out that no one liked it back then when the mailman showed up. Because when the mailman showed up, that was not good.
Yeah, that was really sad.
Because it meant if the mailman showed up and, like, said that there was a delivery for you, that meant your husband was dead.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it was like the telegram guy, not the regular mail.
Right. Yeah, the mailman was somebody else.
Yeah.
She liked the mailman.
Because I kept on thinking it was the mailman because he'd show up on a bike.
Well, first they had the mailman because she was writing a letter to her husband every day.
Sometimes more than one.
Sometimes more than one letter. And he would get the mail out on his ship. I don't know how that works, but I guess it does. And that was it.
But that was before email, so, you know.
Betty White was reading the letter. Oh, she said that sometimes she said he wrote a letter. He wrote a letter, and she said that he would be thinking about her, and then but instead it was an ugly sailor looking back at him. That's not very nice.
I know, right? But then she's giving birth. We see her giving birth.
Betty White? Oh no, this is a young
Betty White,
which is younger, yeah.
Young Betty White.
No, they put Betty White in stirrups to film the scene because they want it to look really realistic.
I wanted to go sci-fi and like Jennifer Love Hewitt gives birth to Betty White. Wouldn't that be cool?
No.
When we interview some of the writers, I'm going to give them that idea because I want to see that happen in the next cycle.
Why give it away? We should write our own movie.
Yeah, I shouldn't give it away. With an idea like that, I mean, this is money. Oh, it's the Western Union. The Western Union guy is the guy who comes to the house and lets you know that your husband is gone.
So then we cut to a few months later, and like I guess before he left, Neil made like a little toy for the baby, and so it's a few months later, and the baby's like playing with the toy, and then
he didn't make it before he left. He whittled that like while he was overseas, waiting for his baby to be born. Okay. Yeah, they showed that.
Okay.
Right.
And so the baby's playing with it. And then the Western Union man stops by.
Mm-hmm.
So we know what that meant.
She's on the porch.
But she goes into denial when she hears the news.
Well, because she isn't told that he's dead. She's told that he's missing in action, and they assume he's dead.
Yeah. Right. She's like, he's not dead.
Right.
And then we go back to the present, and it was like, of course it was really sad. And then she starts walking to the house, and she
Betty
faints.
White.
She faints.
Betty White faints. Falls on her ass, and so they called 911 immediately, which I guess it's a good idea.
And we find out she had a heart attack.
It is a good idea, but it was like about 2 seconds premature. Because nobody actually looked over at her to see, like, oh, did she just trip, or was it a heart attack? It was literally like, oh, she fell, she must be dying.
Right.
That's what I kind of thought that too. It's like maybe just run. I would run over and make sure she's all right first. Mm-hmm. These people are like reaching for the phone. Mm-hmm. Maybe she just wanted to check her phone, and just give her an excuse.
But it was a heart attack. She had a heart attack.
Called 911 immediately. She had a heart attack. Now Hewitt,
marketing prowess to Hewitt for knowing 7-8 years in advance that she would be starring on a show called 911. And so she was able to market it.
Is she on that show?
She joined in season 2, yeah.
I was an extra in that. Is that what I was extra in? No, I was an extra in FBI.
Those are two different shows.
Oh, man. No wonder I didn't see her. 911. What show is she on? What's it called? Rescue 911?
It's just 911.
911 with Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett. Ryan Murphy created it. Ooh. It's the #1 show on Fox right now.
So then,
I thought Smash was still doing well.
Susan goes back to work, and her mean boss, Kelsey Grammer, or whoever.
Hold on, this Hewitt. Wait, this Hewitt woman, she blamed herself. She blamed herself for this heart attack. Mm-hmm. Don't blame yourself, Hewitt. I'm trying not to swear.
But then Lucas was really nice, and Lucas is like, "No, it's not your fault," Yeah. Like it was, but then
she's 80.
The mean boss says, "Okay, this is over. We're not doing this anymore."
It's over, Jenny.
Why were
And
you
then-
trying
Boss,
to
yeah.
not curse, by the way? We've both dropped F-bombs on this very
I've
podcast
done
today
it.
already.
I've done, but I try not to.
Okay.
I try, in honor of Hallmark, I try not to curse. And I've already used the F word a couple times. And I just, and I don't want to say, yeah, that's it.
Okay, I was just curious.
Because you got possessed by Lifetime and took over.
No, I'm just trying to,
I hear you.
try to keep it classy. I already said fuck Betty White.
Really, of all things.
That was my quota. Yeah, I was going to say, Jeff Hewitt, shut the fuck up. Don't blame yourself. But see, I don't want it to be. I don't want this podcast to become puerile.
No, but you saved your disparaging for Betty White. Jeez.
Well, I'm hoping Hewitt hears this. And,
Oh, okay. So she gets a call from her wimpy fiance, and he's in Fiji. He's a wuss.
You never know. Yeah, he might do some sailing. Oh yeah, this is lame. Yeah, he's
He's
like,
a wuss.
I really miss you. Well, I think I'll go sail for 6 months. Wait, I thought you just said you missed me.
And then she gets a call from Lucas.
A real man who doesn't
Right.
care.
He does not
He's
care.
sniffing out. Yeah, he can sniff out the fact that she's not happy with her boyfriend.
This is borderline stalking, though. I think.
Okay.
Because
There
he
he goes
calls
sniffing.
her, and then he said, "You didn't answer your door." She's like, "You're not at my door." And then she realizes he's at her door. So he's standing outside her place, calling her on the phone. Creepy.
Yeah,
But
that's
then,
creepy.
But then she likes it, though.
Yeah.
She likes it.
Yeah.
Then he's saying, he's reaching in, he's like, so what are you going to do now? So what are you going to do now? Now, I have to admit, that does kind of work.
It worked. It totally worked.
Harvey
That's the kind of thing
Weinstein
that actually
agrees.
does kind of work. What's that?
Harvey Weinstein agrees.
Well,
But he didn't force himself on her. And then, when
He
she said
almost
no,
did,
no, no.
though.
Matt Lauer
He
has
tried
that
leaning
many
in for a
times.
kiss, and she had never indicated that she was into him. They haven't been on a date or anything. Like, forget the Hallmark movie rules for a second. Like, he basically leaned in and was going to kiss her when they had never professed even liking each other in that way.
Lean in.
But
Let's get some
then
time together.
she says you can't come in because I'm on my way to Washington. And
She
Jeff
says, "Look,
okay,
Cosby,
now
you can
this
go."
is the part. So they give each other sexy eyes.
Ooh.
And then this is the part that cracks me up because she says they give each other sexy eyes. She says my boss canceled the story, and the news turned him on, and he got horny after hearing that.
Wait, who?
I don't remember him being horny from that moment. What did he
Who's
say? Lucas.
He
Who's
got
horny?
all turned on, Lucas.
Because they canceled the story?
I guess because she's like my boss canceled the story, and he got all turned on from it.
Oh, yeah, this is the scene where he says, like, what are you going to do now?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't care about the project.
He gives no F's. None.
No.
Then she's in Washington. She's interviewing the senator, and it goes well.
Yeah.
And the senator's like, well, thank you for the interview. And if there's ever anything I can do for you, and she's like, well, as a matter of fact, there is.
And he says, hey, that's just something I say, all right, lady? No, but he actually follows through. What state
Yes.
was he from? I like this guy.
Texas.
Yeah.
Texas?
Yes.
Oh, I should have known that because they were in Texas, weren't they?
Yes.
Right. So, and he follows through and quickly, they get an answer very quickly.
Yes.
And then it's someone in Texas, right? So she goes to Texas to visit the family, and they visit the family, and I wrote, the guy who she's talking to is a low talker, and he's rude.
Right, it was hard to hear. Have we established what's happening here?
Sorry.
The people in Texas, let me see if I can articulate this. So she gets some information as to who is serving with Neil,
Correct.
when he was missing.
Yeah.
So when she goes to visit this family in Texas, like their father, I guess, who had passed away, he was one of the people who was serving with Neil, and he was presumed dead before. But what I think he actually is, well, he was dead, wasn't he?
Right.
But they had like a letter. They had a letter, and his son explained some things. And the son was the guy who was the low talker who was working on his tractor.
It was very rude.
As he was explaining things. Yeah.
It was very rude.
They were kind of shown as hicks. I'm not saying people from Texas are hicks, but that's the way they were.
Yeah, they were portrayed that way for sure.
Presented.
They were literally both like working on an old like rundown car in a field.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I can't stop working on the cars. I'll tell you what's going on.
So then we find out, long story short, they break out he says he has a letter, and then they break out this Bible. And
You got a letter.
Yeah, that's how he talked.
And a letter. Not to be confused with Abraham Hicks, who is the meditation guy.
So we find out, so he brings out a Bible. Then she goes back, Susan goes back to see Betty, and she runs into Lucas, and Lucas gives her this long hug, like a long hug.
Mm-hmm.
Surprised that didn't give her a heart attack.
Again,
and then
creepy.
we find out that Neil basically sacrificed himself because the other guy was sicker than he was, and so he could have gone back to the States, but he let the sicker guy go in his place.
All right, I'm going to pose a theory here.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That, because Neil did that a couple times, we learned throughout the movie, that he said, no, take him, he's worse off than I, take him, let him go. Like, is it possible that Neil really didn't want to go back to young Betty White?
No.
Well, I didn't.
I'm just saying, I'm just proposing
Wow,
a
you
theory.
thought that? It's very pessimistic.
No, I didn't say I thought that. I'm saying it's a possibility.
There are better places to hang out than in the jungles of, where were they, the Philippines or something?
But we don't know what young Betty White was like at home. She could have been just an absolute tyrant.
But if I was going to like hide out like that, I would have at least gone to Manila or somewhere like a city.
I don't know. I didn't get that information. Based on the information that we had, I don't know if we can go with that. It's an interesting theory. I might believe that if it was the current Betty White he was trying to avoid.
You are dead inside.
How dare you?
Because she's mean.
As I said,
mean
it's merely a theory. It's not saying that I want that to be true for these characters or that I believe that it's true for these characters. I'm saying it's a possibility.
Well, I mean, it was the 40s, so. But I would have gone to Manila at least if I was going to do that. Okay. So then
letters.
Jennifer did something else I love.
Oh, yeah?
She sassed her boss. I'm all about sassing your boss.
Right.
Because the boss is like, the story is over, and she's like, her husband is still in the jungle, and the boss is like, no, it's over. And she's like, well, you know what? I'll take a vacation.
It's over, Johnny. I haven't taken a vacation in 3 years.
And then
so why can't she take? She can't take a vacation. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I guess I just got too excited.
It's true. And she's like, and she's like, I'll take a vacation. And he's like, no.
Well, he said to her, he even says to her, and I'm pretty sure this is super against the law. He says the job may not be here when you get back. He basically said, if you take your legal vacation time, which we've contracted with you for, if you use that, that's grounds for being fired. That's illegal.
That's wrong. A lawsuit. That's a lawsuit.
Then she said, what can I do? And he said, try being a man.
That's a lawsuit.
Yeah. Hear that? Hear that growling? Hear that growling?
Stop barking. Hey.
Move the chair.
It's justified. It's justified, everybody.
So then,
this is the most tragic part of the movie. This is the saddest, most tragic part coming up. This is her friend. No, this is her friend who just Carrie Bradshaw.
Yeah.
She admits that she is a native of New Jersey. So that to me I cried. That was the most hopeless part of this stuff.
Because
part of this
Kurt,
film.
you're a native of New Jersey.
Yeah, I know. This is the part where I really could feel empathy.
So then though, Lucas gets her flowers. Lucas gets her flowers, and
right.
she says, we should keep it friendly. And Lucas once again gives no F's. She's like, I have a boyfriend. And he's like, so what? He's like,
okay.
So?
I don't see him around here. Where is he?
Right.
My boyfriend's sitting there. Yeah, he is. I'm sitting there.
I'm not sure I'm comfortable with how comfortable you both are with the adjacency to assault.
I wrote, guys, lock up your ladies. By the way, if any of you guys are watching this scene, don't let your ladies get involved in any activities. No clubs, no shopping.
Don't let her have her own life or brain.
They're likely to run into a guy like this. So you have to be very, I don't know, what's the controlling.
Well, there goes half of the listeners we do have.
It's a comedy show. We're all having a good time.
There they go.
Oh, now what's this one? Oh, Hewitt. Now she's got maps on her wall like it's Homeland. Like she's a Claire. What's her name in Homeland?
It really did turn very manifesto-y.
What happened?
It turned very manifesto-y. Like anytime that you have someone.
Oh yeah.
The lead character is kind of going mad by doing all their mapping things out, and they've got the strings on the wall.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Like a mass murderer is they're on the loose. Now the serial killer last was seen in Minnesota.
It's like
next to where Les Kirkendall was.
I have a short attention span, and I understood everything that was going on. And it was about 2 glasses of wine in. So if I can figure it out, I'm sure Jennifer Love Hewitt, not drunk, and as a legit journalist in the movie, I'm sure she could have figured it out really easily without her map on the wall.
Right.
I have to swear for this one.
Oh.
The next scene is the bookstore signing. Who the fuck is Lucas? Why would someone come to his book signing? And you guys have experienced this. You ever you walk through a mall, and there aren't a lot of bookstores anymore, but you walk through a mall, there's a bookstore, and there's 2 guys having a book signing, and they're just sitting there lonely.
Yes.
It's the saddest, nobody's signing.
Yes, I have seen that.
It's so that's what I thought was going to happen. But he had a bunch of ladies lined up.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he was. They pointed out earlier in the movie that he was a kind of high-profile physical therapist for the NBA or something.
Oh, okay.
And
so he had some notoriety. His character had some notoriety in that field.
The line was only ladies, though.
It was only ladies.
And so, so Jennifer, she goes up and she jokes around and says, "Hey, would you sign my book?" She's being. Oh, wait. We forgot something.
Oh.
We did?
Oh. Yes.
Because, the fiance, yeah.
Because, we forgot 2 things. 3 things. Because Betty White was like, Lucas, you need to go after her. And then his parents showed up, to see
Gil Gerard.
Gil Gerard, yeah.
And then his mom
Buck
and
Rogers.
Betty White were both like, you need to go for her. We like her. And then the fiance comes home. The fiance comes home, and then she dumps the fiance. But when they're saying goodbye, Lucas drives up and sees her and the fiance, and he thinks something's going on with them. But she was basically saying goodbye to the fiance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she goes to the book signing, and then.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Because then she's being all cutesy. Mm-hmm. And there's all the ladies, and she's being all cutesy, oh, would you sign my book? And he totally, blows her off.
Yeah, he's like, I didn't write that book.
And then Betty White and his mom see him blow her off.
Yeah.
And then she goes back to work after all that, and she's having a horrible day because then she goes back to work and she finds out she's been demoted, and they're like moving all her shit out of her office.
Yeah, she's gonna have a cubicle instead.
Right.
And she won. I guess those are CableAce Awards that she won.
He did not care.
I don't think they've
They're
given out
pulling
CableAce
them out
Awards
of
in
her
almost
office.
30 years.
What's that?
I don't think they've given out CableAce Awards in almost 30 years.
They haven't?
No,
How
they
am I
stopped-
supposed to know?
They stopped doing the Cable Aces once the Emmys started recognizing cable shows.
Really?
Yeah, because
But
that's why
CableAce Awards aren't happening.
that's why they had those, was because in the early days of like HBO doing original programming and a few other networks, they were like, "Hey, we want to be recognized," and the Emmys were like, "You're not real TV," so they weren't part of the Emmys.
Well, that ruins my dream. I always wanted to win a CableAce Award.
Well, there you go.
It's like just like Traveling Matt from Fraggle Rock. But now
now
my
you just
dream is shattered.
You just have to win an Emmy.
I have to win an Oscar now. An Emmy?
Or an Oscar.
I'll take an Emmy.
Or an Emmy. You know, you got to do it. Oh. Okay, so then...
I'm going to go for the EGOTA.
Oh, yeah, what's that? What's the EGOTA?
The Emmy, the Golden Globe, the Oscar, the Tony, and the Ace.
The EGOTA.
I'm going to go for the EGONOT. The EGONOT. I don't know what the other stuff is, but the last one is the new guys.
Yeah.
So then we find out that her ex, her wussy ex...
Kurt, let's just keep derailing Les so that he can get himself back on track by doing
It's, this is what happens. Well, either when I'm get really tired, either like I'm really like low key or I'm loopy. So this is a loopy night.
The ex got a lead.
The ex should start crying.
Yeah.
He should. He got a lead, and it was a jungle lead.
I can't take this ring back now. It's been 30 days.
So we find out through Mr. Meringue. We find they Skype.
Yeah.
So they Skype, and so Betty learns about Skype for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
She does.
She does. And then they Skype this guy, Mr. Meringue, and then he tells this whole long story about how he picked, he was going to get saved, but he picked the guy to go first, the guy that was more sick. And so he's in the jungle, and they're fighting, and they're like, I was shocked that on Hallmark they showed people getting shot.
Mm-hmm. Again, this wasn't made for Hallmark, though, originally.
Because they were shooting, and people were falling out of trees and stuff. And he dies saving a kid.
Betty White and Mr. Meringue should have a podcast. Now that they know how to use this technology.
Oh right. God. Yes. Yes.
They can do Hallmark movies too.
I want you and Betty White to be in an official feud where yes, just as you're saying fuck Betty White, I want Betty White on the podcast to be saying fuck Kurt Fitzpatrick.
And by the way, Kurt, I would be on Team Betty.
Well, I don't care. If it comes to that, I believe that I would be doing very well at that point.
I would be on
if you would
Team
be on Team Betty, would you though? Would you?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would.
You have to be loyal to your podcast.
She was on Mary Tyler Moore. She was on Mary Tyler Moore, The Golden Girls, and The Bold and the Beautiful, which is the most important thing of all. So I've got to side with her.
Well, I was an extra in the Gary Marshall film New Year's Eve.
So The Bold and the Beautiful trumps a Gary Marshall film. Sorry.
I was a Cuban waiter in The Wolf of Wall Street.
Bold and the Beautiful wins. Sorry. Sorry.
All right.
Denise Richards is on it now.
Ooh.
Denise Richards is on Bold and the Beautiful.
Does she play a scientist like she did in that Bond movie?
She plays like a trashy mom. Her name is Shauna. And so Shauna, her daughter knows about a baby switch.
I'm already lost.
A baby switch. Oh, a baby switch. You mean like two babies got switched? I thought you meant there was a switch. You hit a switch and a baby comes out.
Two babies were switched at birth.
Oh.
And Shauna's daughter is involved with it.
That's a practical baby switch. When I was thinking about an actual switch, when a baby comes out, that's a little more
And Denise Richards,
technical.
Again, she's supposed to be trashy, so they have her in like skimpy tops and like tank tops and stuff. Because, you know.
She was in Starship Troopers, right? Starship Troopers?
Well, now she's on Bold and the Beautiful. And the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
I was in this Halloween show one time, and it was at Madison Square Garden years ago. So I'm backstage, this guy standing next to me, and I asked him, "Oh, do you work for the radio station?" He goes, "I'm Casper Van Dien. I was in Starship Troopers." I said, "Oh, okay, nice to meet you." Sorry.
How do you look?
This was years ago. He looked perfectly fine. I think this was right before Sleepy Hollow came out. He was in that.
Well, I like your description of the encounter because it implies two things about the interaction. It implies him saying to you, "Don't you know who I am?" Followed up by "You probably don't know who I am, so I'm going to tell you specifically how you would know me."
He did.
Was he mad that you didn't recognize him?
He was a little surprised because I was like an MC.
My friends are at home.
Yeah.
It's so funny. My friends are at home, and so I'm talking to you guys, and my friend's like, "What?"
Oh. So I was backstage with this guy. I guess we were supposed to go out at the same time.
Oh.
So I was just backstage with him. So it was just me and him. I was standing next to him, but I didn't know.
Oh, that's cool though. That like you were gonna go like appear with him on stage.
I was made the MC of Madison Square Garden, it was called, and then he was there doing like a personal appearance for this Sleepy Hollow movie.
Oh well, then that's a little more fair that he was annoyed that you didn't know who he was because somebody should have briefed you.
But I wasn't. Yes, but I wasn't interviewing him or I wasn't involved with him. We just happened to be at the same event.
I was gonna say,
yeah.
I mean, like I know he's on a career down of sorts because he was on a reality show on Lifetime. So I was thinking that was at that time, but
no, it was like 1999 or something like that.
Oh,
yeah.
I wonder if he's still hot though.
Back in the day, well, whatever Sleepy Hollow was at, we looked that up. That was probably like 99.
And he was married to Catherine Oxenberg.
Yeah.
Oh, Captain Oxenberg, whose daughter was involved in like real life in that cult, that Nexium cult, where like it was like a sex cult.
Yeah.
Oh.
Their
A
daughter's involved in that, where they branded the women, like that whole thing.
No.
Their daughter's involved.
I'm not gonna make jokes about that. No.
I know. I wasn't joking. I was just more like, wow.
Nexium. Well, I'm already in enough. I'm in enough trouble already, but I'm gonna look that up. I want to read about that.
Yeah, no, it's really bad because they got caught, and it was the woman that was in the Superboy, like the
Superboy. Oh yeah,
Smallville.
Yeah, I did read about that.
So she got arrested and like she's like in jail.
Whoa.
Right. Anyway.
Sex cult.
Anyway. What was I? Speaking of cults,
okay, here we go. Let's keep going.
Not cults.
Yeah.
So then we find out,
what's next?
That he died. We find out that he died, and like they have a grave, and so they're gonna find the grave.
Yeah.
And then we see Jennifer, and then Lucas is like they meet up or something, and she's like, "Oh, Lucas, I thought you didn't like me." And then Lucas is like, "Well, I saw you hugging a guy," and she was like, "Oh, we were breaking up." And then they get together.
Then they finally kiss.
Yeah,
quick rebound. Kiss. She doesn't wait 1 minute.
No.
Between dudes.
And then like the soldiers show up at their house like before.
Yeah.
And they found the body. And then the most important thing is he won awards. I like awards.
Yeah.
He won a few awards.
He's getting the Purple Heart, the Silver Star, and the Navy Cross. This scene was really heartbreaking.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And I cried in the middle of a coffee house in Minneapolis.
Oh, no.
I know, watching this.
Was it from the you just couldn't deal with the chairs moving around anymore? You were that upset about that?
No, that was a coffee house in Ohio.
Oh.
I'm in Minneapolis now.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I just thought that was a thing that happens when you go to coffee houses.
No.
It was sad, though.
And
then
oh,
what
sorry.
happens now? Oh, no, Lucas starts tearing out. Oh, okay, no. He gets, Betty White gets his stuff. She gets, like, the dog tag, and he had a purse.
And
She opens it up.
And he had the card that she gave him.
Right.
Yeah, the heart card still there, yeah.
And then it was good
Very
news
sweet.
for Jennifer Love Hewitt because she got her office back.
Yeah.
She got her
And
office
really,
back.
that's all we cared about.
Her boss is happy. She got her office back.
Lucas wants to tear up the old shrub, the old bush, but
They say no.
Betty White says, no, just leave it there.
She tells
So
him
there
to,
might
to
still be
basically
life in
print
there.
it back down to the ground.
Then the coffin shows up
Yeah.
at the train station. Oh, she goes to the train station, and then she sees her friend, and then
The guy works
Then-
there, yeah.
their friend that works there, and then the coffin showed up, and
She's
then
waiting. It's like it's just like she's been doing for all these years. She's waiting at
Okay.
the train station.
But tell me you didn't feel something when Betty White delivered this line, Kurt. My husband's coming home today.
yes, I started crying. That's when I started crying.
Because she was talking to the train conductor guy or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, good to see you. I was waiting for you. My husband's coming home today." Oh,
And that's when I started crying in the coffee house in Minneapolis.
I absolutely cried.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
oh, you're not dead inside.
And I even thought, no,
Heard,
but
you do have a heart.
but well, of course. Lucas wasn't crying though, and I wrote, he's a monster.
No,
Like
they
her
were making
grandchild
sexy
wasn't crying.
eyes. They were
Well-
making sexy eyes at each other.
All right, she's probably thinking, well, Jennifer Love Hewitt, she was crying.
Yes, and making sexy eyes.
It was very moving.
Yeah.
Very moving. Yeah.
And okay, so then they go back to the house, and we find out that like Susan actually started talking to her mom again.
For the first time since her dad
I
died.
see dead people.
Right.
Oh wow. That time was a little too soon.
And then
Titan bright, baby.
it shows like Betty, like it shows
I don't mean to
like
critique.
like
All right, what-
Susan and Lucas were like in the front yard, and there was
Yeah.
like a little water thing going.
They are a cute couple.
Right.
I'll give them
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
And then it shows them like getting wet, and then it shows Betty White, and she's
Wet.
thinking back on her back when she and her husband were like getting the house together and playing with the water hose, and then it kind of superimposed on Jennifer Love Hewitt and then Lucas, and they kind of it was like a reminder of that. And then I started crying again. I started crying again because they showed the bush and a little rose was coming out of it.
And then that song, because they kept using the song "Dream a Little Dream" throughout the movie, and it came on the radio as Betty was watering the bush, and we see the bud, and Betty starts like dancing in place like the husband's there with her, and I'm a blubbering mess, and the credits start rolling, and then I see Gil Gerard, and I'm like, what just happened?
Right.
Then you really cried. Dreamweaver. What other shows? Gil Gerard on his Buck Rogers. What was the
Buck Rogers.
other one he did? He did a show after that.
I
But there was
remember
one he
once
did after
was on
that.
Hotel.
He was
Remember
he was a
Hotel?
lead on another show. Dreamweaver. No, Hotel with
Connie
James
Selick, his
Brolin.
wife at the time.
Ooh.
Wait, who
Really?
was,
And then
who was
she
Gil
married
Gerard's wife?
John.
Yeah,
She-
he's married
she-
to Connie Selick.
Oh, I
And
didn't.
she was married
Before
to
she
John
married
Tesh.
before Tesh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Back in the '80s, they were like the
Huh.
it couple
I did not.
She likes
Because-
large men.
because they were both on hit series. Because he was on Buck Rogers and she was on Hotel.
But he was on another show. I don't have the resources to look it up now.
I don't know either.
Dreamweaver. I was wondering if, well, first of all, Hewitt and Lucas are holding each other like Titanic,
Right.
where like Rose has her arms open. But then I thought, did Betty White die? Because
No.
you see that she drops the hose.
No,
She
the
just
hose
died?
drop was a flashback.
Yes.
Oh, so she's alive.
Yes.
I thought the same thing. I was like, that's really dark. And I was like, oh, it's a flashback to that scene from earlier when the hose got dropped.
Right.
Gil Gerard
Gil Gerard.
also starred for 23 episodes on a show called Sidekicks. An ordinary
Oh,
cop
that's right.
tutors a
No,
young
I
boy
don't
who
know that
insists on
show.
helping him with cases with his mastery of martial arts.
What?
And it was a little
No,
kid.
I don't know what that
And
is.
it was a little-
23
and it was a little
episodes
kid.
on a major network. I'm sure it was a thing.
ABC.
There was another show.
It was on ABC.
Wasn't there another show that he was on?
And the little boy did martial arts. I remember that.
Yes.
Maybe I'll watch that. But wasn't there a show like right after Buck Rogers?
No,
Is there
not right
another
after
show?
Buck
Nope.
Rogers.
Or-
No. No, I think Buck Rogers got canceled and then picked up again or something like that. I sort of remember
Because you
that
know who
being a
used to
thing.
always guest on Buck Rogers?
Who?
Gary Coleman.
Twiggy.
Yes.
Gary
Oh.
Coleman.
Arnold.
Yes.
He did?
Yeah.
I didn't like Hawk. I got tired of that show when they brought in Hawk. It was like a half man, half hawk. He had
Right.
a hawk head. He had feathers for a head, and I was like, that really turned me off.
And
what was that guy in Hallmark movies?
I wonder.
Hawk.
So I take it we all liked it.
I don't know if
I
Kurt
take it-
liked it.
Kurt.
I was angry I had to watch it because I was tired. Did I? I found it very moving. I thought it was well done. I was impressed with Betty White's acting because I thought, is Betty White just going to be Betty White? But I thought she did some good work in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. She just doesn't get a chance to do more than comedy.
Right. Okay, so I know Kurt needs to go to bed.
Jennifer Love Hewitt is hot, so I
Right.
appreciate that.
Of course.
That was well made.
She was very, she was
yeah,
cute.
yeah.
She was very hot. I even thought she was hot.
Slow moving, I guess. But
Okay,
the movie,
so you guys,
yeah.
our next movie is it was picked by a listener.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Yes.
I like input.
So
What
our
is this?
listener, our listener Terry Foster
Mhm.
wrote me again to thank me for giving her a shout out in our last and on our last show when we were talking about how Terry got hold of us and recommended a movie.
Yes.
And Terry recommended a second movie,
Okay.
which I found. And it's good. I think it's going to be really good.
Lifetime or Hallmark movie?
Lifetime. And
What is
I
it?
think it's going to be really good. Okay, listen to this.
What is it?
It's called The Wrong Cruise.
The wrong what?
Cruise.
Oh.
That's what Katie
Starring-
Holmes says every day of her life.
Starring Vivica A. Fox.
Oh. Okay, I'll write that down too. Samantha Fox?
No,
Her cousin, Vivica A.
Visit.
I don't think
Michael
they're
J.
even
Fox?
remotely related.
Oh.
So, I think it's going to be good. So, a mother and a daughter take a cruise,
Mm-hmm.
and the mother meets a man.
Uh-oh. Bad move.
Is he up to no good?
Of course.
And and it's on YouTube. I
That's
checked.
it?
Yes. But
Why do they have to go to... Okay.
because if the title has The Wrong or...
Oh, it's the wrong
Yeah.
cruise. Yeah.
I will say
wrong
Lifetime absolutely knows how to name their movies.
Right. So
They
there's
get
going to be...
right to the point. You know the tone of the movie. You know that it's
Killer Grandma.
distinctly Lifetime. You know what's going to happen in the movie. There's no surprises.
So there's going to be death and sex.
Yes.
And
Oh, no.
craziness.
Sex? People being thrown off.
Oh, people will
Ship.
be thrown off of the ship. There's going to be sex.
People who work.
And death.
People who
And
work on
blood.
the cruise doing comedy shows, and they got shitty audiences, and then they have to see the people, audience members on the cruise the next morning. That's
Yes.
not a good cruise.
Yes. So that is our next movie, The Wrong Cruise on Lifetime. You can see it on
Okay.
Lifetime or you can see it on YouTube.
Oh.
Okay.
Anywho, I should go because my friends are home and I think they want their living room back.
That's fair.
Friends,
before
how
I
many
go,
of us have them?
the reason why I'm in Minneapolis is because I'm doing my monthly show here in Minneapolis. And by the way, my monthly show, Workplace Drama, has been picked up for the rest of the year.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I will be doing a monthly show here in the Twin Cities the third Friday or Saturday of every month. And of course, I'll promote it here. The show, it's workplace drama, and since it's Pride Month, as a matter of fact, this weekend is Minnesota Pride, or Minneapolis.
Minneapolis Pride is huge, by the way.
Really?
That's the biggest one in the Midwest. Is one of the biggest in the country, as I understand, because it's sort of central to not just Chicago, a big city, but like all these other like smaller cities from around, so they kind of come there. Yeah, right. I've heard it's really, really big.
So I'm very excited. So because I was bummed that I missed LA Pride because I was in Ohio. So now I'm getting to get my Pride on. So since it's Pride weekend and the show is on Saturday night, the theme is work. WERQUE.
Workplace drama.
Right.
Work it.
And I have a special guest star from Los Angeles. Larry Dean Harris from Strong Words in Los Angeles is flying out to do the show.
Nice. Not Gil Gerard.
Wow.
And so no, not Gil Gerard. But Gil Gerard, if you ever want to do my show, I would be happy to have you. Or if
that show I'd like to see.
If you want to come on a Lifetime of Hallmark and chat with us, we'd be happy to
talk
chat with you too.
Yes.
Missy Elliott should be on your show. Work it.
I would have Missy Elliott. Missy, we're more than happy to have you.
Is there anyone we'll say no to? OJ. I don't think we'd have him on.
OJ, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
The thing is
right.
like, and not that I want to give terrible, vile, don't even want to call them human beings, more exposure. But the flip side is, how interesting of a podcast would that be if we are just sitting here chatting with OJ about, the wrong
cruise?
Well, no, because considering the majority of our audience we have a lot of female listeners. I think our female listeners would not even listen.
Oh, I'm not talking about it from a practical standpoint of like, oh, would it hurt or help our audience? I'm just talking just in terms of like, how bizarre would that be?
Right. And I honestly would not talk to them.
Yeah, I would just like lay into him.
We just ignore him while he's on. He'd Skype in. We'd be safe.
We have a guest
today.
we
just ignore him. We have one.
But I'm not going to tell you who it is. Kurt, Les, and I are going to talk amongst ourselves while our guest sits over here in the corner, not murdering me because there are cameras.
Right. Exactly.
We can actually tell our listeners that he's there. Yeah, he just doesn't say anything. We're just not talking to him, but he's here.
Well, he's on Twitter now. He tweets now.
Oh boy. Well, so did Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby had a tweet on Father's Day.
Oh, what did he say?
Yeah, how's he tweeting from jail? How's that a thing?
I thought you weren't allowed to have cell phones in prison.
No, he didn't actually. He got somebody who works for him to tweet it out from his account.
Okay.
What did he say?
It was something like, "Hey, all you fathers out there, you should be upholding your values," or something like that.
Bill,
he referred to himself as America's dad, and everyone went all in on him. It was kind of.
You saw it. Yeah.
Wait, he did? He referred to himself as America's dad?
Yeah. It was ill-advised. Like it was one of those things that there may be people that support you, but you're just drawing more ire when you try and bring attention to how not guilty you think you are.
Right. Yeah, Bill, because you were just such a good example.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, anyway, on that note, Kurt, you need to go to bed.
I know. I've been really, really amped up.
And I need to go
this episode.
Well, speaking of Bill Cosby's social media, what is ours, Les?
Oh, so if you want to get a hold of us, or like our friend Terry Foster, recommend movies, which we are happy to take your recommendations. You can reach us on Facebook at A Lifetime of Hallmark, on Instagram at Lifetime of Hallmark, and I just remembered that we have an old Twitter handle, and I'm in the process of changing it, but in the meantime, if you want to tweet us, you can tweet us at He Just Loves the Hallmark Channel. It just has our old podcast name.
Well, when you figure out the password to that, let me have the Instagram password that we've been trying to get into for a couple of months here.
Okay, yeah, I'm still trying to figure that out. I actually have a bunch of down days because my show's not until Saturday. So that will be my goal while I'm here, is to figure out the Instagram password. I'll just sit down and figure it out.
Okay.
Oh, and then you can catch me on Instagram. My own is at Kirkendall, KURKENDAAL, or you can find me on Facebook at Les Kirkendall Barrett. Jason?
I'll do it quick because Kurt's yawning. I am on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Big Shot Jason. Kurt.
Well, you can see my TV pilot at campusmartiustv.com. And Les and I are going to be in Indie Fringe in August.
Yes.
So you can check out I think it's indiefringe.org.
Yes.
It's Indianapolis, and that's like August 15th. Runs for like a week and a half.
What venue are you at, Kurt?
I don't know. No one has told me.
Oh.
I don't know. What venue are you at?
Maybe you should call them, because I'm in Comedy Sports, and when they give me my time, they give me my venue.
I'm confused. Yes, I'll have to look into that.
Yes, I'm at Comedy Sports, though. Anyway, well, guys, we did it. Another movie. We were in 3 separate places. We pulled it off.
No one has yanked us off the air yet.
Right? The dogs behaved. So now I got to go. My friend Liz is laughing.
You literally froze up at the end saying, I got to go, and then it just stopped.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So let's go.
Let's go. All right.
Let's go.
Yeah, all right. Bye.
Work it. Bye.
Bye.